Hey, it's Lauren. So today I just want to play with some makeup. I don't really have any specific focus for this video other than I just want to hang out. So I'm going to start with some Clover by Clove. Skin is in Serum Foundation. I wear the shade 4 and I'm just going to dot this all over my face. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Ever since we've moved to Colorado, I think the altitude kind of makes things launch out of bottles. I am going to apply this using the Jones Road Beauty Everything brush. This just launched recently and it's pretty awesome in my opinion as a foundation brush. This brush is designed to be able to use for like bronzers and cream blush, foundation, really kind of anything you want it for. It's a good size, it's not too big, slightly rounded, and the bristles are somewhat dense, which I actually really like. I think it disperses products really well. And it fits pretty easily around the nose, up around the eyes. And I think it really just kind of helps to give an airbrushed finish to whatever you're applying on your face. I think this is a fantastic brush. So for today's look, I'm going to do kind of a smoky eye. And very specifically, I want to show a technique that I do with my eyeliner. It's just a pencil eyeliner, but I've had people ask like how I do my eyeliner with it. And so I want to show how I do that today. It's a pencil eyeliner and I make it look like a kind of a cat eye effect. I happen to think it's one of the easiest ways you can wear eyeliner. All right, foundation is on. Next, I'm gonna use some Conceal Plus concealer. I have the shade 2.75. I have worn 3 for the longest time, but that one was always a little more kind of pinky peach for my complexion. I have kind of golden undertones. I'm very fair right now, so it can be kind of hard to tell, but if you look at like my skin, I definitely have more like a golden undertone and my face is a lot lighter. So I really like this concealer a lot. It's got such a nice coverage and it's a really creamy texture, which I love. And I find that even though this one is a little more creamy, it doesn't crease that much on me. I feel like a lot of more creamy, radiant textures do crease pretty easily, and this one just never really seems to do too bad on me. The one thing I will say, this 2.75, it does have more yellow gold undertones, which is what I need, but I also, like, some days can't use it if my under eyes are too blue because it makes my under eyes look green. It's the whole, like, color theory. If you mix blue and yellow, what do you get? Green. And I notice sometimes if my under eyes are just really, I don't know if it's like allergies or just genetics or what, but if I'm just like real blue, I can't use this one. But look at that. It just brightens everything up. I think it's so beautiful. Such a great texture. Love. And I love that Fitglow, they expanded their shade range for their concealers. It used to be only like 5 shades, like when they were really, really early on. And I think now they have like 15. So that's really great to see too. But such a fantastic product. Now I want to warm things up a bit. I'm going to use my Chanel Soleil de Bronze de 10. I don't know what it is. And what I'm going to do is kind of come right across here, because that is where we would naturally get a little bit more sun. And I'll go a little bit around my eyebrows. I'm gonna blend all of this out, but just kind of getting a base layer going here. I just want it to look very natural though, and that's kind of where people tend to get a little sun-kissed. So now I'm just gonna use this and just kind of like press and tap it in because I don't want to move around my products underneath. And I'm taking this up pretty high, as you can see, like around my under eyes, because I think that's also something that's pretty natural, unless you have sunglasses on, and then you'll have a sunglasses tan line. I'm kind of drying this down a little bit just because I don't want it to be disconnected. Gotta make sure to get the hairline too, because that is always a makeup giveaway spot. If you want it to look very natural, that's where you really want to focus. I look a little less like Casper now. So fair. All right, now I'm going to use a blush that I really, really love. This color is so pretty. It's Fervor from Phytosurgence, and it is like this rich berry color. So I'm just going to use my fingers today. It's got like this kind of like almost whipped kind of texture. And this particular shade is pretty pigmented. Shocker from Phytosurgence. All of their stuff has like the best pigmentation and the best colors. But I'm gonna go pretty light with it and build up because I don't want it to be too strong all at once. You'll also notice I'm just kind of pressing and bouncing it onto my skin to blend it in. Really nice, natural, rosy flush though. I think it's such a beautiful color. I think a lot of times when you're more fair, it can be really daunting to grab a shade like this, but when you just very lightly kind of go in and pat, it looks very natural. Just starting with a smaller amount and kind of building up. And I actually think shades like this a lot of times really do kind of mimic a more natural flush anyway. So don't be afraid to grab something a little bit deeper than what you're inclined to, because you might really like the result. Love that. So now what I'm going to do, I wouldn't say it's Project Pan necessarily, but I'm definitely trying to kind of use up some older products. So this is a Charlotte Tilbury Airbrushed Flawless Finish, I think 2 medium. And I'm going to use this. This is a really lovely setting powder. Something that I actually would repurchase. I think it's a really, really great product. It just completely makes your pores disappear. And I'm going to use this to set around my T-zone and kind of under my eyes. I think most people have pores that are larger through the center of their face, and that's why you find people like myself who tend to get a little more oily in that region. So I'm just going to kind of set around here. And I'm also going to go over my eyelids just to act as a little bit of a primer and to kind of prevent things from sliding around later. Every time I use this powder, I remember why I love it. It's so good. Now I'm going to use some of my Violette FR Baume Shine, and very similar to a lot of my applications, when I'm layering creams, I will use my fingers and just kind of pat. Ew, that's kind of doing a weird thing. It's like grainy. Sometimes with products, you know, with the temperature fluctuations and things like that, the textures can change. So if you have anything that's in kind of a wax or a cream base and you get some graininess, usually just warming it up in your fingers will be enough to kind of smooth all of that out. So I'm trying to like kind of fix that. I'm just gonna pop through here. I do think this is a really lovely product. I kind of wish that the texture hadn't changed like that. That's a bit of a bummer. But it brings this really pretty kind of glassy, oh, hello. Glassy finish to wherever you apply it. Do a little down my nose, just to bring a little highlight to the bridge there. I think that can be really pretty. I always kind of pop a little right there. Gives that little like lift to the upper lip. Look how pretty that is. So it just, the way that it catches the light is just so nice. And it's not overly sticky. It's not going to be as light and like a powdery finish as like my Phytosurgence, which I love so much. I have to talk myself out of using it sometimes because I love it so much. But that's really beautiful. I always like to pat like wherever you put your highlight. I don't like when you have like a hard stop essentially. So I always kind of like just keep blending that edge just a little bit so it has like this very natural shift. Now, very excited, going to play with the new Athrbeauty Rose Quartz palette. I feel like I've talked about this in a number of my most recent videos, but it's excellent. It's an easy palette to love. I do miss certain shades from the old one, but this one is also really beautiful and really easy to use. I'm going to do a more smoky type eye today, so I'm going to play with some of these kind of gray silvery shades. I really want to play with a shade that I haven't touched much in this palette, which is this shade. It is Vibes, which is like a really pretty, it's a silvery kind of color, but there's a certain kind of rosy warmth to it that's really, really nice. I'm gonna pop that onto my lid space. Very soft, pretty shade. This is a very user-friendly palette. Like, if you get nervous with eyeshadows, I feel like you really kind of can't go wrong with this one. It's just so soft. Now, I'm going to take a small kind of angled brush and dip into the shade Athrbeauty, which is this matte gray right here. And for today, I'm going to create kind of a winged smoky eye. So I'm going to concentrate this out here, and I'm going to start drawing my shape. Okay, so basically now that I've got this shape, I'm just going to take a larger fluffy brush and very softly blend out this top line. I don't want to completely blow it out because I do want it to have some structure and shape, but I do want it to kind of have this like almost ombre effect as it fades into that first color that I put on. Just a little bit of softening. I still want to keep those points on the edges there. And so the next thing that I want to do today that I just kind of think would be fun because they kind of have a similar feel is I'm going to take the Roen 1111 palette. And as you can see, it has very, very similar tones to the Athrbeauty Rose Quartz palette. So what I'm going to do is take the shade Situation, which is this shade. It's kind of like a pinky, chunky glitter kind of effect. And I'm gonna rub my finger in here, warm it up a bit, kind of get some on there. Look at that, it's like a metallic kind of wet finish. And I'm going to pop this into the kind of center of my lid and just lightly tap out on both edges just to bring some extra light to, look at that, the center of my eye. Yeah, these two palettes really do play well together. If you're wanting to mix some cream with your powders, I highly recommend trying 1111 with the Rose Quartz palette. They are friends, for sure. Now, I'm going to fix my eyebrows before I move on to doing this liner that I'm so excited to show you how to do. I'm going to use my Gucci brow pencil, partially because what I wanted to use I can't find, which is my new, the Fitglow Plant Protein Brow Gel. It's really, really awesome. And I was like kind of cleaning up in a hurry yesterday, and I don't know where I placed it. So I don't get to use that one today, and I'm a little bummed. I'll find it eventually, but at the moment, it's MIA. I do happen to think this brow pencil is pretty awesome. I like it because it has a drier texture, but it's more powdery, so it doesn't pull on your brows when you're like moving it through them, which is really nice. Okay, now we are ready for liner. So what I love to do so much that I think is super flattering, especially for like a winged kind of shape, and really to accentuate kind of what I've got going on today, the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liners used with a very small like gel liner brush is amazing. So I'm going to use the black one today. I need to sharpen this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is concentrate my liner on the outer half of my eye. I really don't go super far in just because of my eye shape, and I feel like it kind of closes my eye off a little bit. And for today, I really want to keep things nice and open and elongated. So what I'm going to do is stay very close to my lash line. The great thing about using a pencil like this and using a brush is that you don't have to be too perfect with the pencil when you apply. And the reason why this combination works so well is when you first apply these pencils, they are very, very soft and creamy, almost like a gel liner, but you have the control of applying it like with a pencil. I love the way that this works out. I'm so excited to show you. So here we go. That's the basis of it. I'm gonna end up filling in a little more with shadow right there just to kind of connect my liner and my eyeshadow so I don't end up with like a second wing above it. But I love that liner effect. And you could see I would open and close my eye, but it's so simple. And like, I just think this is the perfect product to use a liner brush like that with. And you'll notice when I first do that, I don't really take that wing super far out initially because I use the brush to really drag that shape. Now, to connect this shadow and the liner, there are a couple different ways you could do this. What I'm going to do is take that same little liner brush I had, kind of get some of the excess liner off of it. And then I'm going to dip it into that shade Aphrodite again. What I'm going to do is come in right above where my liner is. I don't really want to cover it up, but I do want to connect the two a little bit more so you get that strong liner shape. What I'm going to do is take that initial little tiny angled brush and use that almost to blend. Kind of soften out that little corner a bit. And I almost need, I'm gonna have to check and see if I have one. I almost need like a slightly darker gray than Aphrodite to kind of connect between the liner and shadow. I think that would look a little bit more snatched. I had to dig around for a minute, but I found something that will actually do a better job connecting these shades a bit better. So I'm going to use Smoky Gray from Jones Road Beauty. I double checked with this just on my hand, kind of had Aphrodite side by side with Smoky Gray to see, is Smoky Gray a deep enough shade for what I'm trying to achieve? And the answer is yes. So I'm gonna go right above where my liner is and just kind of connect between Aphrodite and that liner. And that just, I think that kicks it up just where I need it. I can also blend out a bit with that too, but it adds to the effect that I'm going for. Like that, I'm gonna take Smoky Gray on this little liner brush and go just beneath my eyelashes and kind of stick on the outer half as well and kind of drag up into that liner as well. Just a little smidge of blending right there. This side didn't need as much. Boom. Okay, now time for a little mascara. I'm going to use the Clover All Maxed Out. I always use this side with the fine teeth, not the chunky teeth. Just don't like how that made my lashes look, but the fine teeth is usually pretty fluttery and adds to kind of a smoky eye effect. So let's do that. Made a little bump and I got a little clumpy. I'm gonna wipe off some of the excess. The nice thing about this particular wand is it is soft, flexible bristles, so when you do have excess on your silicone wand, you can wipe it off, which I like. Wow, I am really making a royal mess of my mascara today, you guys. Wow, okay. I mean, my lashes look great. Wow, that looks really good. But like, I'm so messy today. You know, sometimes I guess you just have those days, and today is not my day. Every single time I use a mascara with a wetter formula, it is the most ridiculous looking application ever. I end up making a huge mess. Like, I love how this mascara looks. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for it to dry out, and it still has not dried out. It is such a wet formula. It's so beautiful. If you like a wetter formula, you'll love this. For me, that drives me freaking batty. While I'm waiting for all of those mascara smudges to dry, I'm going to put on my lip color for the day. I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Pencil in Pillow Talk. You can tell it's a very well-loved pencil. We're getting smaller. This pencil is so nice. Like, I don't really overdraw my lips a ton, but when I do, this is such a great pencil for that because it has enough of a waxy base to it that it really does kind of mimic the texture of your lips. So they just look fuller. It doesn't look like there's liner on the edge of your lips. And because I liked today's blush color so much, I frequently do this where I will coordinate my blush with my lip color. I'm going to use the Fitglow Lip Serum in the shade Ever. And it's definitely got that like kind of purpley plummy undertone. All right, these mascara smudges better be dry by now because I don't have time for this. This eye was bad. Well, anyway, I do love how my makeup came together today. I think it just looks really pretty, really soft. I got to show you how I do my liner. I love how that came together though. I love the color coordination here. Okay, bangs, what are we doing here? What's happening? My hair was making me mad last night, so I threw more layers in it. Thanks for hanging out. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new, especially with liners. I really do think that the Victoria Beckham pencils are amazing for creating a cat eye shape, and they're so creamy, and then once they set down, they really don't move. I think they're amazing. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Helps other people find my channel, and I can continue making you fresh new content. I'll see you next time. Bye.